Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. So finding your why. What even is it? Well, our why is what nourishes our soul. It's what helps us live that fulfilling life. And how do we find our why? Where is it? What is it? What does it even look like? Because it's different for everybody. So when we're starting to look for our why we're going to do what we are doing, let's look at what lights us up, what makes us come alive. And that's something bigger than us and something that can put us in that flow state where we can be so engrossed in what we're doing because we are loving it that we lose the track of time. That's what our flow state is. And for me personally, my why was I wanted to help others in their times of vulnerability. So I trained as a nurse. My mum was a nurse. I loved the idea of what she was doing. And for the first few years, I really loved what I was doing because I thought I was really helping these people on their own journey back to wellness, coming in through the hospitals. And as time progressed, I was looking at my own self and doing some research because I suffered from various health complaints over the years. And I started doing some research, prompted by a question when somebody challenged me at work into why am I using pharmaceuticals over looking at what our body can do? And I'm like, well, I'm here to help people to heal themselves. And that's why I became a nurse. And she said, well, are you really helping people to heal themselves? And so I went away and looked at what we are capable ourselves and our bodies are capable. And the more research I did, the more I found that our bodies heal themselves. Well, of course they do. Nobody questions how they're going to heal when they cut themselves or bruise themselves. We just accept that our body will heal. So I'm thinking, well, can we extrapolate this? How much more can our body do? And the more research I did, the more I realized that actually we are capable of so much more than we've been told. Our bodies are literally miracles and they are programmed. We have this innate ability to heal ourselves by ourselves. And this was never taught to me in nursing, and it was never taught to me at home because my mum was a nurse. So, all we ever knew was the medical model. So my why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I a nurse? Well, I thought I was helping people to heal themselves, but actually I'm helping people to not have symptoms through medications, through interventions, but I'm not helping them to heal. Their bodies are doing the healing that themselves. So I started looking at what I could do to help myself and also to help them, because now I'm struggling. I've always been a nurse. I always wanted to be a nurse, and I see me being a nurse until I retired. And now suddenly I'm feeling this isn't fulfilling me. This isn't nourishing my soul. Therefore, my why feels compromised. I'm kind of helping people to get better in the hospital so they can go home, but I'm not actually helping them to heal themselves. So I started looking at what I was good at, because that's another question we can ask ourselves to find our own why. And yes, I love helping people, but I wanted to help them to help themselves. So I wanted to empower them so they could do the work and not be reliant on other people, whether that's nurses, doctors, hospitals. So my passion, although I was still wanting to help people, changed from wanting to help them in a hospital setting with medications to now wanting to help them to help themselves on their own journey. And as I started to heal conditions like autoimmune, I healed 3 autoimmune diseases, and we're told autoimmune we can't heal. I also ended up in a deep, dark depression with suicidal thoughts because of this conflict. I wanted to be a nurse, and here I am realizing it's not fulfilling me anymore. I feel partly that it's covering some of my why, but it's not really what it's all about anymore. So one thing to take away from this is that our why can change, what we do can change, and it's not a sign of failure. It's a sign that we are growing and evolving. And as we overcome challenges, we will grow and evolve further. And our why can change, as was mentioned previously. So I still wanted to help others, but the way I was doing it is now changing. From being a nurse, I went and trained to be a coach. And then I surrendered my license as a nurse because I didn't feel able to uphold the my place in the register by living within that medical model. So I'm still wanting to help people, but now I'm wanting to help them to help themselves. I'm not just wanting them to help them to get out of hospital and feel better. So as we change and evolve, what we're doing can also change and evolve. Our why can stay the same, but it can also change. So it changed to I want to help people to get better in the hospital to I want to help people to get better by themselves and help them to do the work necessary. So it's about understanding and say there's no failure, there's only growth and lessons. As we learn more, we can do more. As we know better, we can do better. So another question to ask yourself when you're looking for your why is, how can you add value and what problem are you solving? So first of all, I thought I was helping people in the hospital, and then I realized I wasn't. I was helping them only to get out of hospital and not have symptoms, but not heal from the root cause of their ailments. So the problem I'm now solving is I'm helping people to understand why they've manifested these symptoms or these diagnoses from the doctor in their body, and find why they would need to manifest those symptoms. So look at what is the message coming from their body behind their symptoms. And in doing so, it's a case of I just talk to my clients and get them to tell me what they think is important in events in their life, starting from way back in their childhood, because our childhood massively affects our adult life, whether we know it or not, whether we think we've hidden something or dealt with it or tried to forget it, it still spills out into our life. So in what problem am I solving? I'm now solving the problem, or helping the client solve the problem, should I say, of why have they become sick? Why have they developed these symptoms? Why have they been given this diagnosis? What is underneath that? So in helping people to help themselves, I'm now empowering that person and nourishing my soul, because I am seeing direct results from these people healing themselves without pharmaceuticals. So as I have done, and my experience in my own healing journey, as well as being a registered nurse for 20 years, feeds into or gives them the information. I have all of that knowledge, that holistic knowledge, if you like, and I can help them on their own journey. And healing isn't just taking a pill and relieving the symptoms. That's just symptom relief. Healing is healing. It means we have healed the root cause of why the symptoms evolved, so that they can no longer evolve, because we've healed whatever caused them to show up in our body. And another question when we're looking for our why is, how are we measuring our own success? Because we've got to be able to measure something to be able to see if we're good at it, or we need to tweak it or do some more work. And there's different ways of looking at success. Are you looking at it in financial terms? When I make X amount of money, I consider myself successful. Or in my case, am I nourishing my soul? Am I doing my soul's work, if you like? Am I working from my heart, and doing things that really make me feel good? And for me, yes, absolutely. This is the work I should be doing, to help people to help themselves, not just to help people to get out of hospital. So when we're looking at motivation, why do we do what we do? Because it nourishes our soul. It fills us up. And we can set goals based on what it is that's nourishing our soul and motivating us, so that we can see our own progress moving forwards. And having that purpose in life, setting those goals and understanding our whys, helps us to live a longer and healthier life. And not only that, we can develop a resilience from it. So finding our why is about our own purpose in life. So just to recap, it can change as we change and grow and evolve, and new information comes in, or we see somebody doing something, or we learn something somewhere else, when we know better, as I said, we can do better. So because I'd healed myself and I started to help others to heal themselves, I decided to write a book about it to help other people across the world who I can't reach to help themselves. And my book, Heal Yourself, was born. And it was about my own healing journey, healing all the conditions that some of which doctors said can't be healed, what I did and how I did it. And I reached out on social media and found 74 other people who also wanted to share their own healing journeys. So we've all written what we did and how we did it and what we've healed to help others to see that it is possible. Because as Joe Dispenza says, paraphrased, if we see one person doing what we think is impossible, then we can change our limiting beliefs that something is now possible because we've witnessed that. So that was the idea behind my book, to show people that they can heal themselves. They don't have to be stuck within that medical model. As the doctor gives a diagnosis, we tend to take on board that diagnosis as gospel, and with that comes a set of beliefs, and with that comes the doctor's prediction for how the disease will progress through the future. But do we need to believe that, or can we check back in with our body and find out why the doctor said that? Well, the doctor said that because that's what their training involves. They're taught to link symptoms together, give it a name as a diagnosis, and link a drug to that. So instead of accepting that as gospel truth, can we come back within ourselves and say, why did my body need to produce these symptoms, or all of these symptoms, or this pain that the doctor's now given a diagnosis? And if we can step outside of that diagnosis and let go of the doctor's predictions of how our life will pan out, and decide for ourselves that we can heal ourselves, because our belief is key to healing. If we believe we can heal, we will have a better chance than if we don't believe we can heal. So if we come back into ourselves and say, why did these symptoms manifest? What is it trying to tell me? And then work with that. And as I say, working with a coach is much easier, because the coach can ask the questions that you wouldn't like to ask yourself, or you might even not think of asking yourself. So once we can understand why our body needs to produce all these symptoms, we can understand where they came from, what the root cause is, and heal from that. So in finding your why in what you are doing, what is it that nourishes your soul? What is it that lights you up? Why do you want to do what you want to do? You have to be able to answer all these questions to find your why. Otherwise, as was mentioned earlier, you can just flip from one thing to another and not really understand what it is that you want in your life. So finding your why is really important, and I hope that helps.